my weekly fasting Q&A. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'll try to get to them. So many of you guys are getting the routine down and know that if you put your questions in the community section in the morning, we answer those first. Let me start off with this thought. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm a deep thinker. Everything that I'm teaching you guys here, I do myself, my team does, my family does. Like, we are big believers in living it to lead it. And so I've been really thinking a lot about immunity. And I know we've got people all over the world. And for the last year, I have been deep into the research on immunity, especially immunity and fasting. And after a year of researching, I have to tell you that I've come down to the same 3 things that we need to all focus on for immune system and to keep our immune system strong. And many of these 3 things fasting can help with, especially if you're doing fasting the way I'm teaching you guys here, fasting with variation, and then really also looking at food variation. But let me explain the 3 things. And I have now labeled those 3 things what I call forever immune. And what I love about this idea of staying forever immune is that it puts us in control. So I don't know about you, but over the last year, I think the whole world has felt out of control. And yet we have control over our own immune systems. So we may not have control over the virus, but we have control over how we react to the virus. So to me, forever immune means that you make the changes in your lifestyle right now so that you can keep your immune system strong so that when the next virus comes around, you're in good shape. So here are the 3 things. The first, you've got to be metabolically flexible. Okay, we've talked about that so much on this channel. We are not meant to be sugar burners all day. We are not meant to be fat burners all day. So those of you that are the 1 meal a day people, I want to encourage you to step out of ketosis. I want to encourage you to eat 2 meals, 3 meals one day, because you do need to have periods where you're a sugar burner. Those of you that are new to fasting and you've been sugar burners eating all day, thinking 6 meals a day was going to speed up your metabolism, I want to encourage you to learn how to go without food so you can naturally become a fat burner. So the first step to becoming forever immune is being able to click in and out of these 2 states. And there is an art to that, which is why we teach that in our resets. We have a reset specifically around the immune system, anti-aging, and fat burning that's coming up. So if you want information on that, just put forever immune in the comments and my team will give you the link. Second thing we've got to have to stay forever immune, and that's vitamin D. Okay, let's talk about vitamin D for a while. There is so much research on vitamin D, but here's the tricky part on vitamin D. It's not as simple as just going out in the sun. So, there are 2 things that will affect, well, 3 things really, that will affect your vitamin D production. One is the darker your skin, the less you'll take the UVB light and turn it into vitamin D. So that's the first one. Second, if you lather yourself with toxic sunscreen, you're blocking out the UVB lights that will allow you to convert that into vitamin D. And then the third thing is we now know that people who live in cities that have more air pollution, that the particles in air pollution block the UVB light and will affect your conversion to vitamin D. Now, it's also not as simple as taking a vitamin D supplement. So you could, I hear story after story from people who take supplement after supplement after supplement, only to find their vitamin D levels are not going up. So you've got to have your gut in good shape and you have to have your cells to not be inflamed. So again, these are principles I'm going to teach you in the next reset. So please join me if this is new information and you want to stay immune strong right now. Join me in that reset. The third thing is a nutrient we just do not talk about enough, and fasting helps you create this nutrient. You yourself, your cells make this nutrient, and it's called glutathione. And I just did a really cool podcast interview with a pharmacist who is a glutathione expert. actually wrote a book called The Glutathione Revolution. You can find that podcast on iTunes. It's the Resetter podcast, and it's with Dr. Nayan Patel. And guess what part of your cell makes glutathione? The part that we're trying to have some effect on, which is the mitochondria. So if you are able to keep the health of your mitochondria in a good place, then your cells will create more glutathione. Now, what depletes glutathione are the things that you are doing every day. So, for example, toxins. Let's just say toxins in general. We also know alcohol, drugs of all kinds, prescription drugs, recreational drugs, those will deplete glutathione levels. Once glutathione goes down, once vitamin D goes down, once you become metabolically inflexible, you are now an incredible host to any infection. So it doesn't matter if it's the current one we're focused on or if it is one that is, the normal flu season. So these three things, let's just take this mystery of immune compromised and let's come back to simplicity, because we don't need things from the outside to strengthen our immune system, especially if we haven't done the inner work to strengthen our own immune system in the first place. That should be foundational. Once we've accomplished those three things, once we're metabolically flexible, once our glutathione levels are up, once our vitamin D levels are up, then we now are in a really strong place. And that is what this channel is about. That's what the Resetter podcast is about. This is what we're doing in my academy, is really giving you guys the power back and using everyday lifestyle tools that we don't have to spend a lot of money on, that we don't have to have like the wisest, most intelligent brain to understand. We just need some really concrete, clear steps. And when we follow those steps, our immune system will stay strong. So I'm really excited to chat a little more about this. If you guys want to join me in the Forever Immune, just put Forever Immune in the comments and we'll send you a link. Our resets are pretty darn incredible. I'm very proud of my team. I'm proud of the work that our resetters are doing as they go through that process. This one's a 19-day experience. It's a brand new reset that I've never put together, and I'm excited to share it with you. Okay, last thing before I open it up for questions. We're gonna dive into hormones this month. So get ready, Fast Training Week is coming. It's coming in 2 weeks, and I just put all the videos together. Again, I'm really excited about them because I'm gonna dive into fasting and hormones. Now, when you guys see me in the next couple weeks roll out these videos on fasting and hormones, men, I do not want you to go, oh, this isn't for me, because I am including you in this discussion as we go through this week. You have hormones too. You have just different hormonal needs. So I'm gonna talk about that as the week goes on. So don't be scared when you see a video on fasting and estrogen, because you need to be thinking about estrogen as well. So don't be intimidated by that. And women, when I do a video on fasting and testosterone, don't think that testosterone is a male hormone. That's your hormone as well. You need testosterone as well. So hormones not only control our body, but they control our mind. And there are a lot of factors to hormones, and fasting, especially fasting variation, can really help hormonal production. So stay tuned, that's coming. And again, you guys, if you're new to my channel, just subscribe. Welcome to the ride. I am here to empower you through the principles of fasting. And as I say on all my videos, this year, 2021, I am dedicated to getting 1 million people to this channel so that we can start to give you the power back. And fasting doesn't take money, doesn't take time, it just takes knowledge. So, okay, with that, I'm gonna open it up for questions.
Okay. We have a lot of questions already on the community page, which are the first ones that we go to. So I'm not sure we'll get to any live questions today. Okay,
we're going to start with Sequoia's telling me we're going to start with the community questions. So let's dive in.
So first of all, we do have some comments from people who are in the academy already. Do you want to just quickly touch base on how many resets we do per year for your members?
Okay, so there, I guess we're getting questions from our Academy members on here. So we do a reset every other month. And what a reset is it's anywhere from a 15 to a 21-day experience where I've done videos that I don't do here on YouTube. And we have an ebook that goes with each reset. Their ebooks are usually about 80 pages long with recipes and tips and tricks. And we go through an experience together. We have 5 Zoom calls. We do workouts together. So if you guys are listening on this channel and you're like, I love this information, but I still am trying to figure out how to apply all of it, then the reset's a great place for you. And we do, our Academy members, when they join for a year, they get every other month, we do one of these. I have a team, by the way, of, gosh, it's growing. It's like 17 people now. So it's really important to us that you get healthy, that you get results, and that you come out of those resets with an empowered feeling. So we put our best foot forward.
Okay, so the first question is from Lynn, and I think this is a pretty good question.
Okay.
In the 4-2-1 fasting model for menopause, do they need to be consecutive?
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the 5-1-1 and the 4-2-1 that I put out last week, last week on women and fasting. So let's start with this conversation before I answer Lynn's question. Do men and women need to fast differently? The answer is yes, and that's what I'm trying to teach you guys on this channel. Do women over 40 need to fast differently? Yes, they do. And the reason is at 40, one of the things we have to start to acknowledge is that our ovaries are done. They're going to take about 10, 15 years to stop making sex hormones. So we're more vulnerable to stress, we're more vulnerable to high carb diets, we're more vulnerable to toxins. I wrote about that in the Menopause Reset, so you guys can grab a copy of that. It's coming out in the next couple of weeks. So Lynn's question was, when I put out the video on women over 40, I talked about a new protocol that I'm using with a lot of our Academy members, some of my patients, I've been using on myself, and it's called a 4-2-1. 4 days of autophagy fasting, 2 days of hormone building, and 1 day of a 24-hour fast. So Lynn's question was, do they need to be consecutive? And the answer is no. If you know you have really low progesterone, either you have it through a Dutch test, or you're not sleeping, you're anxious, you're spotting with your cycle, then you may want to put those 2 days of hormone building back to back, and then either go into those 2 days with the 24-hour fast, or come out of it with the 24-hour fast. So I actually love this new 4-2-1 weekly schedule for women over 40. I think it really is one that will help us accomplish not only making sure that we can produce hormones in a balanced manner, but making sure we stay insulin sensitive so that we can keep our weight where we want it, but also keep progesterone up. So, so the answer, Lynn, is no, they don't have to be in order. You can do whatever order you want.
Okay, awesome, great. M. Palmer wants to know if fasting affects hair and nails and skin.
Okay, great question. So M. Palmer asked if fasting affects hair, nails, and skin. Okay, I'm going to give you the general answer, and then I'm going to talk a little more about the menopausal woman because there's a little different there. So you have to remember, it doesn't matter where we're living right now, but if you're living in America, it's even worse, that our soils are very, very depleted of nutrients. The broccoli you're eating today is not the same nutrient-dense broccoli you ate 10 years ago. There is something called monocropping, where our food is being grown in soils that have been sprayed and cropped over and over and over again, and so they no longer have the mineral content that we personally need. The reason I bring that to your attention is when we come to fasting, we have to acknowledge that we're already mineral deficient. The majority of humans right now are mineral deficient. So if there was one supplement a faster needs to put into their diet, it is a mineral supplement. Now, I'm trying some interesting things with different minerals. You can go to my website and go under the store, and I have my favorite mineral supplements there. I'm putting some minerals in my coffee in the morning. I'm trying some minerals in my water as I'm drinking throughout the day, drinking minerals, and then of course I take a mineral supplement. So when you say your nails, it was nails and hair and skin. So nails and hair are definitely minerals. So make sure that you're adding minerals back in. A lot of times for hair, it can be a thyroid issue too, and how you overcome thyroid problems with fasting is varying your fasts, not OMAD over and over and over again. You got to have days where you're feasting. You got to go in and out of the different fasts. Again, this is why I'm preaching this on this channel, because there's so much misinformation out there. So think about minerals with hair, think about thyroid, think about fasting variations. Now, women over 40. Okay, here's the harsh truth, is after 40, we're not getting a lot of estrogen. So estrogen in our 40s is doing this. By 50, estrogen is just doing this. And estrogen is keeps our skin very plump and glowing and nice and lubricated. So we have to work even harder. I'm actually putting a presentation together for a group of docs on estrogen and skin coming up. So if you're a doctor, follow Systemic Formulas, because I'm doing a presentation for them on skin and estrogen in in menopausal women. So we have to work a lot harder, and this is something I've really been battling with in my own life, and it really comes down to hydration, and it comes down to oils. So a lot more flax oil. This is why I love the Andrea seed oils. It's highly concentrated. So a couple of spoonfuls of Andrea seed oils can make a big difference for your skin. Make sure you're hydrating the skin with natural products. I just tried out a natural product for skin that I love from Dime products. They're all natural. That's on my store on my webpage as well. And Andrea seed oils is there as well. So we have to be over 40 a lot more intentional about it because estrogen's not coming back. One of my staff members right now is pregnant, and I'm watching her estrogen levels go up, and I'm sitting back and going, damn, her skin looks good, because it's like glowing from all the extra estrogen. Menopausal women, we don't have that so much. So we gotta douse ourselves with hydration and with oils.
Okay, this is a question from Tracy. If you're intermittent fasting, can you have bulletproof coffee?
Okay, intermittent fasting and bulletproof coffee. From Tracy asked this. Heck yeah. And I'm going to put a little asterisk there. There's a few exceptions. So in general, bulletproof coffee works for people. If you haven't listened to the podcast interview I did with Dave Asprey, it's been one of our top performing podcasts for the Resetter podcast. It's all his favorite fasting hacks, and he likes to put the C8 MCT oil in his coffee. He believes that it helps you elongate your fast. And we have found that. It really, MCT oil, the bulletproof coffee is tremendous. So yes, it can really help. Now, let's make sure coffee is always organic, pesticide-free, mold-free. So let's be clean. Ingredients matter. Now, some of you, I want to speak to those of you that have been fasting for a while and you're frustrated because you're not losing weight, you're not getting the result that you want. If that is you, this is where we have to start to get into the nuances of, okay, maybe the coffee's not working for you. So the first step to do, and Tracy, you can do this as well, take a blood sugar reading, drink your bulletproof coffee, and then a half an hour, take another blood sugar reading. Are those two readings fairly equal? If they're not, if that second reading your blood sugar went up, the bulletproof coffee is not working for you. So that's a good little test to see if it is working for you. And if it's not, then you might have to take it out. But we have found most people can do it okay. But again, we're all, remember, N of one. We're really into self-science on our channel and in our academy. So I'm giving you the general answer, and some of you might need to get into some self-science to decide if it's right for you.
Okay, and as Asprey points out, and you've talked about this before, coffee can actually help get you into autophagy.
Yeah, coffee. I think I did a video on autophagy and coffee, and I can't. In fact, I said this to Dave, and Dave said, Dave was like, well, why would you want to give up coffee? That's stupid. He has a really funny sense of humor. And so I was like, okay, so he was in alignment with me. I can't find enough science because when you drink clean coffee, it actually can help you. Now, and it can stimulate autophagy. And you add some MCT oil, it can help you fast a little longer. He even believes in coffee for 3-day fasts. He calls it a dirty fast. I'm not sure what I believe on that, but that wouldn't be at the top of my list. So for a 3-day fast. So yeah, I think coffee done right can be really helpful. 10 cups of coffee, not so helpful. I have a personal limit of 2. I try to stay between 1 and 2 just to make sure that it doesn't spike my, my cortisol levels too high.
Okay, let's see. Some of these questions on the community page are about drugs and interactions, and we're not going to answer those. Those are
yeah.
for
Let me give let me give a general idea. A lot of the questions Sequoia said that we're getting on the community page is around drugs and fasting
or conditions.
Yeah. So the couple things I want you to know about your medications and fasting. For starters, in a fasted state, you may absorb that medication more easily. Let's just put it that way. So you want to involve your doctor in your fasting conversation, the doctor that put you on that medication. So this is why I give the science here on this channel. I'm trying to get more doctors to come to the channel so that we can have a collaboration of conversation between patient and doctor. The greatest resource for your doctor is a video that I did, and I think it was titled Why Your Doctor Should Be Recommending Intermittent Fasting, and it was based off the New England Journal of Medicine article on what how fasting can help for certain conditions. It's an incredible article. The New England Journal of Medicine is your doctor's go-to journal for legit science. So send them to that video, involve them in this conversation. The second part of the medication equation, and again, another reason we need your doctor in this conversation, is because as you heal through fasting, you may require less medication. So we need the doctor to be able to understand what you're doing. So if your doctor's putting you on a medication over and over and over again, there's a good chance that your doctor doesn't understand the principles of lifestyle. And yes, there are some medications you need to be on, and yes, there are some medications you can get off of, but that's a conversation between you and your doctor.
And that is a great resource, that video.
The video is that's a great resource for your video. I know if you're a doctor listening to this right now, I know a lot of you guys send your patients here. And again, one of my goals around fasting is we need to have concepts in healthcare that unify us. I'm really getting tired of the arguing between allopathic medicine and natural care. Like, why don't we come together and take the best of both of those, and let's give some power back to the patient, and let's come into a collaborative state. So please send your patients, send your doctor. The science I'm delivering to you guys is always linked in the notes. So if you're a doctor listening to this, please go in and do the science yourself so you're educated on it and you can be a great advocate with your patient.
We have a bunch of people in the academy right now who are actually prescribed the academy by their doctor.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
So they were asking for receipts to get their use their health funds.
Well, that's cool.
And I'm like, yeah. So
yeah, that's really cool. I never even thought of that. So if you can't hear Sequoia, he said that we have some members in our academy where their doctor has actually prescribed the academy, and then they want a receipt so it can be covered under probably like an HSA.
Right, HSA.
That's
receipt.
awesome. Yeah.
And with the doctor's prescription, I think every HSA is different. But,
yeah.
That's totally a doable thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Everything that we're teaching you here in our academy is about your lifestyle. I feel like we need to go to lifestyle first. Let's fix lifestyle. And then from there, we can look at supplementation. We can look at medication. But or if you're a doctor listening to this and you feel really adamant a patient should be on medication, awesome. And let's also work on lifestyle. And the thing I love about fasting is it doesn't take money and it doesn't take time. It just takes knowledge. And that's what we're trying to teach here.
Okay. Jumping through the questions. I don't understand. I don't know what that is.
Sometimes the questions, if you want your question answered, ask it really concisely.
Yeah.
It really helps.
I'm not sure even how to. Linda's in the Reset Academy, so maybe Linda.
If you're in our academy, we're about to do a Q&A, hour and a half on Zoom, so that's happening at noon California time today.
So Linda, join us there, and we can get more in depth on your question if you're online here. But we look forward to answering it over there. Glenn. Okay. Gleanne. Sorry.
Okay.
How does fasting affect the adrenals?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah. Okay, Gleanne is her name?
Yeah, Gleanne, Glean.
Okay, Gleanne. So how does fasting affect your adrenals? Okay, I've done some videos on this, but it always comes up and it's a great question. So what I want you to remember is that there's two types of stress. There is a hormetic stress, which is beneficial to the body, and there is chronic stress, which is damaging to the body. So with a hormetic stress, what happens is we have these short periods where we are pushing our body to a place where it is forced to repair. Now, this is what fasting is. When we first come to fasting, we are pushing ourselves into an uncomfortable place so that our cells are forced to repair. Hormetic stressors are really positive for the adrenal glands, because if you just have a little bit of stress, it like taps on those adrenals and says, hey, let's wake up, we can do this, let's repair. Chronic stress is where we have had so much stress that we are now numb. And there's a great theory in the nervous system called the Polyvagal Theory, and the Polyvagal Theory says that somebody has been under stress for so long that they have created this freeze place where they are numb. This is where we're prone to addiction, that they check out. I think a lot of people were in the freeze moment last year with COVID. So under chronic stress, we've got to bring back more nurturing, and fasting in those moments, and if you're adrenal fatigued in that state, that fasting can be a little hard because any little extra stress locks you into that freeze moment. So if you feel like you're withdrawing, if you feel like you're just addicted to food or other things, you're feeling numbed out, little short bouts of intermittent fasting may help. It might be enough, or you might need to turn to food first. Like take out the refined flours, take out the refined sugars, like start with some changes, add some things in, add in some nutrient-dense vegetables, and focus on your microbiome and build that microbiome until you can get yourself out of the freeze place, and then you can come into more intermittent fasting techniques. Now, if you're like, well, I'm adrenal fatigued, but I'm not numb, then it'll be a hormetic stress, and it'll be great. And what you can do is you can slowly push your breakfast back an hour or a half hour, and just create that. You want to be in that uncomfortable place. You want to be in the place where you're like, This is no fun. In that no fun, you've got cells that are repairing in the adrenal glands. And the last thing I'll say about adrenal fatigue is it's not just the adrenal gland. There is something called the HPA axis, which is your hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenals. They are a team. And a lot of times we think that the adrenals have conked out, but really it's toxins in the hypothalamus and pituitary that are not allowing the communication to happen with the adrenals. And autophagy fasting is great for repair of those neurons. And then the last go-to with all of our hormonal issues is you got to do some deep detoxing like we teach in our toxin reset. But that gives you a lot of steps there that you can play with. And if you're still coming up against a wall, then you're going to need to detox.
Uh-oh. We've got some noises coming.
We've got gardeners in the background.
Yeah, I think that's 2 houses over.
Okay.
Somebody is asking about the trumpet vine or commenting on how beautiful it is right behind you.
Yeah. I'm in California. I won't tell you that I just went for a run. Well, I will tell you. Just went for a run and it's like 75 degrees here. It's incredible. So hopefully you guys can hear me. There's a gardener.
I'm not hearing it on this.
Yeah, there's a gardener behind me. Okay.
And somebody commented, I think it was the same person, Tracy, that you refer to our team as opposed to staff or employees. You want to talk a little bit about that philosophy?
Yeah.
And the people, part of our team is the people joining us in the academy.
Yeah.
You're part of our team.
Yeah. So I'm big on collaboration. This is why we call it the Resetter Collaboration. This is why I always let you guys know we're a community here, even though we don't see each other eye to eye, like we can't visually see each other. I think of us as a YouTube collective, and that I'm learning from you, you're learning from me. Your guys' comments on my videos are really helpful for other people, especially when you tell stories of how you're getting good results. And with my team, we're here to support you. To me, staff has sort of a, hey, I'm the boss, you're the staff. It has this hierarchy, and I don't look at that. I don't look at life that way. I don't look at the people that work with us. I don't look at it that way. I look at us as a team that's on a mission to really bring health to the world. Why I'm so excited about fasting, why I'm so excited about platforms like YouTube, is that it's free information. It doesn't take money to be able to learn these concepts. And so as you guys have sent people here, as you have shared my videos, what's happened is that we've grown by leaps and bounds, and I want to thank you for that. And I have one purpose in life, and that is to get the world healthy. And I want to do it through the cheapest way we possibly can, the thing that doesn't cost money for people. So every one of my team members is applying these principles. You cannot be on my team and be a junk food eater. It just doesn't work. You can't be on my team and not fast. It's incongruent. We already have a healthcare system where doctors tell you that you need to eat better and exercise more. Meanwhile, that doctor is obese. That's incongruent to me. So the one thing you can guarantee from me is everybody answering the questions to you, every bit of knowledge I give you, everybody who's on my team, we're all in alignment with these principles. And it's part of the magic of what we've tried to create with our community. So thank you for noticing.
And this is going to be the last question we can do today. This is from a regular question and subscriber, Fit to Fat, Gabby. And Gabby's question on the community page, and thank you, Gabby, for posting both in the chat and on the community page. She's more, I believe it's a woman.
Okay.
She's morbidly obese
and
insulin resistant and really wants to lose weight, and so is doing 14 to 16 hour fasts every day. Sometimes they do 3 meals in a day.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But still get the result.
Right. Okay, so if I understand Gabby's question right, she's saying that she's obese, she's doing 14 to 16 hours of fasting every day, but wants to have
one day every once in a while where, a feast day.
Yeah.
What we call a feast day.
Okay, so one thing to realize, Gabby, and this is for everybody, the way I look at my day is I have a fasting period and I have an eating period. So I decide ahead of time how long I want that fasting period to go. And it's usually based off of two things. One, it's based off of, well, what does my day look like? So like today, I've just got back to back to back calls. So I probably won't eat my first meal till 3 or 4 o'clock today. And that's okay because it's the second thing I look at is where am I in my cycle? And so I don't need to be building progesterone right now. So if I decide to go 18, 19 hours, that's fine. Now, once I break my fast, I eat. So, but I have what I call a food value system when I eat. So the food value system, the first thing I ask myself is, okay, do I want to stay keto today? Yeah, I think I'm going to avoid the grains. So I'm just going to have meat and vegetables. And I have like one big meal and a whole bunch of snacks in that little short eating window. Some days I'm like, ooh, I got to build progesterone. So I'll shorten my fasting window and I'll elongate my eating window. And I'm a sweet potato fan. I love sweet potatoes and
all different kinds.
All different kinds. I don't know if it's menopause and progesterone.
We like the rainbow of sweet potatoes.
We have been obsessed with sweet potatoes. We do purple, white, yellow as much as we can get. So those days when I'm trying to build progesterone, I'll just eat throughout the day. I'm a nosher. So to answer your question, I would say, yes, it's okay when you open that eating window up to eat small meals continuously. That's fine, and you won't ruin your weight loss efforts. But have a value system for yourself. What type of style of eating are you going to do? Are you going to do ketobiotic? Are you going to do low keto? Are you going to do autophagy? And then the other food value system that I have, you will not see me eating processed junk food. You will not see me eating the bad oils. You will not see me eating anything that's got a extremely bright red, blue color on it that has red dyes in it. I don't crave sugar. I used to crave sugar. I don't anymore. I don't do gluten because here in America, the gluten is horrendous. So those are the kind of values I have in my mind. But once I open up my eating window, I'll eat, and I'm popping things in my mouth usually all afternoon long. I love my new thing that I love is keto cups. I've got bags of them stashed in my office, so I've been breaking my fast with keto cups. So yeah, so I hope that answers that for you, Gabby. And then the other thing, what I heard from you is that you want to lose weight with fasting. So just make sure you're varying your fast. If you haven't tried one of our resets, I encourage you to try that. But the variation will be key for you as well. So, and you can get yourself out of the obese situation. So hang in there with those principles. I learned another thing that I think is really important for us all to remember. And that is that our brains grow new neurons when we put difficult tasks in front of us and we fail at them. So failure actually encourages the brain neurons to grow. So when you start a new task and you fail at it and it's frustrating and you stick with it, you grow new neurons. How flippin' cool is that? Whereas if you start a new task and it's easy for you, and you like effortlessly step into it, you don't grow as many new neurons. You don't have that same kind of brain empowerment. And when those new neurons grow, let's use fasting as an example, once you get it down, once you push through the frustration, what will end up happening is now it's solid in your mind and you'll never forget it. You'll never go back to your old ways. So in some sense, if you look at that principle and you look at hormetic stress, you're like, wait, I don't want fasting to be easy. I want it to be difficult, because by the time I get past that difficult moment, it's now ingrained in my neurology. It's now taken my mental health and my physical health to a whole new level. So just like I'm trying to rebrand menopause, let's rebrand failure. Let's rebrand frustration and difficult steps with fasting, because there is something inside of us that needs to happen in order for us to embody this, and it will no longer be something that we have to think about. It will naturally occur for us. So
Okay, we're at 40 minutes, so
Okay,
we went 10
I
over
gotta
what
go.
our allocation was.
Okay, you
So-
guys are awesome. If you want more of this, join us in the Forever Immune. I'm really excited about this one coming up. But the most important thing, don't ever give up on yourself. You're the miracle. I'm just giving you the information. You're the hero. So stay engaged with this information. Don't ever get like locked into the fact that this doesn't work for you. It works for everybody. So as always, hope that helps.